Do you feel like negativity is haunting you? Have you ever had the feeling that no matter how hard you try, there is always something stealing your peace? What if I told you there was a way to shield your mind and your heart? A way so that no bad energy reaches you, as if you were carrying an invisible armor that protects your soul. There is an invisible energy that determines everything in your life, and you probably never learned to control it. For more than 2,500 years, Buddhist monks have held secrets about how to purify the mind, shield the heart from negativity, and attract a peace so deep that nothing, absolutely nothing, can disturb it. These are not just teachings, they are master keys that can unlock a version of yourself that you may never have known existed. If you've made it this far, you probably feel like something is draining your life energy. Maybe it's that constant feeling of heaviness in your chest, even when everything seems to be fine. The irritation that comes out of nowhere, as if you were a sponge absorbing other people's negativity. The mental fatigue that persists no matter how much sleep you get. The feeling that you are always reacting to life, never really living it. What if I revealed to you that there is an ancient path for you to become immune to these destructive energies? Today, we will reveal the 7 most powerful teachings of Buddhism to remove negative energies, create mental clarity, and attract lightness into your life. Get ready, because if you stick around until the end, you'll see the world and yourself in a completely different way. Look around for a moment. How many times in the last few days have you felt tired, irritable, overwhelmed, without even knowing why? It's as if life has become a race, and in the midst of this rush, we forget to breathe. We forget to listen to ourselves. We forget what really matters. But what if the secret to a lighter life wasn't in what's missing, but rather in what we need to let go of? I know you want to find peace. And the good news is that this peace is not out. She was always inside you. Now, let's go to the first teaching. And maybe this is what will make you look at life with different eyes. First teaching, the power of silence. We live in a world that screams. Cell phone messages, notifications, opinions, charges, comparisons. There's so much noise out there that we end up forgetting to listen to the only voice that really matters, our own. Have you ever stopped to wonder why some people seem to have an invisible shield against negativity? They navigate conflicts without flinching. They remain calm in chaotic environments, and they always seem to be in the right place at the right time. Buddhism teaches us that silence is not just the absence of sound. Silence is a portal, an invitation to hear what the noise of the world tries to silence: your essence, your feelings, your purpose. Imagine for a moment that your mind is like a lake. When the waters are rough, you can't see the bottom, but when the lake calms, everything becomes clear. That's exactly what silence does. It calms your inner lake. And in this state, you begin to see what previously seemed confusing. Silence brings you back to yourself. Think about the last time you argued with someone, maybe at work, at home, in traffic. How many times have words spoken in the heat of the moment brought regret later? Silence in these moments is like an invisible shield. It doesn't erase problems, but it gives you the clarity to choose the battles worth fighting. And more than that, when you talk less, you listen more. And listening more is one of the greatest superpowers anyone can develop. Studies at Harvard University have found that Buddhist monks have 700% more brain activity in the region responsible for happiness and compassion. UCLA research has shown that 8 weeks of Buddhist practice can literally rebuild areas of the brain linked to stress and anxiety. And neuroscientists at MIT have discovered that certain Buddhist meditations activate the brain's default mode network, the same state in which brilliant insights and creative solutions emerge. In other words, we are not talking about vague mysticism. We're talking about a mental technology validated by the most advanced science on the planet.
For 7 days, practice this. Morning, 5 minutes observing your thoughts without judging them. Afternoon, respond to 3 situations with silence instead of an immediate reaction. Night, lie down and listen to the subtlest sounds around you for 10 minutes. What will happen? Your mind will begin to slow down naturally. You will notice spaces of peace between thoughts, and in these spaces, a higher intelligence will begin to manifest. But what if I told you there was something even more powerful than silence? Something that can free you from one of the greatest prisons of the human mind. Let's move on to the next teaching. Second teaching. Stop living by other people's opinions. There is an invisible prison where billions of people live without knowing. And the bars of this prison are made of other people's opinions. How many times today have you changed your behavior because you were worried about what someone might think? How many important decisions have you postponed because you were afraid of other people's judgment? How many authentic parts of who you really are were buried alive to fit into standards that aren't even yours? In the Sera Monastery in Tibet, there was an ancient inscription that says, "He who lives for the eyes of others dies for his own eyes." I'm going to reveal something to you that completely changed my life. Every person you meet is seeing you through the filters of their own pain. A critical person projects their insecurities. A negative person projects their frustrations. The controlling person projects their fears. In other words, what others think about you has zero to do with who you really are, and everything to do with who they are. When you understand this deeply, not just intellectually, but cellularly, something extraordinary happens. You stop needing external validation to feel valuable. You make decisions based on your inner truth, not on fear of criticism. You radiate a magnetic authenticity that naturally attracts the right people. You become energetically invincible because there is nothing else outside that can bring you down. Tonight, stand in front of a mirror for 5 minutes. Look into your own eyes and say, "I free myself from the need for external approval. My inner truth is my only guide. I am complete exactly as I am in this moment. Other people's opinions are a reflection of them, not my reality." Repeat this until you feel an energetic shift in your chest. This is the exact moment when the invisible chains break. Buddhism teaches us that each person sees the world through their own filters. Your pains, your beliefs, your limitations. This means that what others think of you says much more about them than about you. When you understand this, a weight falls off your shoulders. You begin to realize that you don't need anyone's approval to live your truth. And when you live in alignment with who you truly are, negativity simply loses strength. It's like trying to hold a balloon against the wind. You try hard, you get tired, you get frustrated, but in the end, the balloon will always want to go where he needs to go. Likewise, trying to control what others think about you is like fighting a wind that never stops. Letting go of that balloon is liberating. But there's an even deeper key to freeing yourself from negativity. And that key is inside you, hidden where few have the courage to look. Want to know where? This will surprise you. Third teaching: self-reflection as a superpower. The answers you seek are not outside, they are within you. There is an ancient Sanskrit phrase that says, Yad bhavam tad bhavati. As it is within, so it will be without. But most people live in reverse. They try to fix the outside world, hoping that it will fix the inside world. Imagine that your consciousness is like a sacred temple. For years, you've let anyone in. Fears, doubts, traumas, other people's expectations, painful memories. Now, this temple is so crowded with uninvited guests that you can barely find room to breathe. Self-reflection is not just looking within. It is doing a deep cleansing of this sacred temple. But here's what most people don't understand. You can't clear the temple by running away from what you find inside.
Every repressed emotion is like a piece of furniture covered by a sheet in your inner temple. You can pretend it doesn't exist, but it continues to take up space and accumulate energetic dust. Stop for a moment and think. How many times have you found yourself wondering why certain people drain your energy? Why do some environments make you feel heavy, or why do certain cycles repeat themselves in your life? Most of us spend our entire lives trying to find these answers looking out. We look for it in books, other people's opinions, social media, but we forget that the most powerful compass is already within us. And here's the gist. You cannot clear the energy around you if you do not first clear the energy within you. Imagine your mind is a glass full of cloudy water. The more you try to look through it, the harder it becomes to see clearly. Self-reflection is the act of let this water settle. It's when you stop, breathe, and allow your thoughts to collect themselves. When you silence the world, the universe within you begins to speak. And do you know what happens when you start listening to yourself? You notice patterns. You understand why certain situations bother you so much. You find out hidden emotional triggers, old memories, unhealed wounds, expectations you carry without realizing it. And here comes the most powerful part. Self-reflection gives you back control. When you understand what throws you off balance, you gain the power to not be dominated by it. But be careful. Here's a secret that almost no one tells you. It's not about avoiding the bad feelings, it's about sitting them in front of you and ask, what do you want to teach me? It is in this internal dialogue that you begin to free yourself. Now, if you're thinking, okay, but how do I put this into practice in my daily life? The answer is in the next teaching, where we will talk about something that seems simple, but can completely transform your energy. Prepare yourself, because what you will hear in the fourth teaching can change the way you feel within your own home, your work, and even within yourself. Fourth teaching: clearing space and mind. In Tibetan feng shui, there is a concept called lung, the energy that flows through all spaces. But what few people know is that this energy isn't just influenced by what you put in your environment, it's programmed by your consciousness. Your home, your bedroom, your workplace are not just physical spaces, they are energetic extensions of your mind. When your environment is chaotic, your mind cannot quiet down. When you are accumulating objects from the past, you cannot create the new. When you are disorganized, your energy becomes fragmented. But there is an even deeper dimension.
Every object around you carries an energetic memory. That outfit you wore on a sad day, that gift from someone who hurt you, those papers from projects that went wrong. All of this is transmitting subtle frequencies that interfere with your auric field 24 hours a day. Stop for a moment and look around you. Is your desk organized or cluttered with papers? Does your room exude tranquility or does it feel like a battlefield? So it is your outer space is a mirror of your inner mind. When your house is messy, it's almost impossible for your head to be at peace. When your desk is cluttered with things, your thoughts get jumbled up. And you know why? Because the environment talks to your brain all the time, sending signals you don't even notice. Imagine this. You arrive home from work, tired, and want to rest. But as soon as you open the door, you're faced with piles of clothes, piled up dishes, and a ton of notifications flashing on your phone. Your body may be still, but your mind keeps working. A mind that is too full is like a room without room to breathe.
That's why, in Buddhism, cleaning and organizing are spiritual practices. It's not just about hygiene or aesthetics. When you cleanse what is outside, you also purify what is inside. Start with something simple. Make your bed when you wake up. Empty a drawer you haven't opened in months. Delete files, photos, and messages that only hold you back in the past. They are small gestures, but they create a cascade effect in your energy. The brain loves the feeling of free space. It brings clarity, lightness, and focus. Now, here's an important detail. There's no point in just cleaning the physical environment if your mind is still full of noise. Internal cleaning is as necessary as external cleaning. Set aside 5 minutes a day for a small ritual of silence. Turn off your cell phone. Close your eyes. Breathe deeply and observe your thoughts. You will realize that many of them are not yours. These are memories, other people's opinions, worries that may never happen. And when you create this space of observation, negative energies begin to dissolve naturally. Now, before we move on to the next lesson, I want you to keep one thought in mind. The more clutter you accumulate, the more stuck you become in the past. The more space you free up, the more new things can come in. And in our 5th teaching, let's talk about the power to live with simplicity and order, and understand how the excess of things, commitments, and worries is draining your energy without you realizing it. Get ready, because this part is going to mess with your concepts about happiness and freedom. 5th teaching, live with simplicity and order. Buddha once said, "Happiness lies not in having much, but in needing little." But this is not a philosophy of scarcity. It is a technology of freedom. Answer honestly. How many of your problems are created by excess? Too many commitments that drain your energy. Too much possessions that require constant maintenance. Too much information that confuses your mind. Too many superficial relationships that don't nourish your soul. Simplicity is not about having less stuff. It's about having just the right things. In Zen monasteries, each monk has exactly 3 bowls, 2 robes, and 1 meditation cushion. And do you know what they discovered? The fewer external distractions, the more inner wealth. Your attention is like a river. If you build too many dams, worries, possessions, unnecessary commitments, the river loses strength and becomes murky. But if you remove unnecessary dams, the river flows with crystalline power towards what really matters. Take a deep breath and answer me. Do you really need all of this that you carry? And I'm not just talking about material things. I talk about memories, commitments, expectations, guilt. If your soul had a backpack, would it be light or heavy? In Buddhism, simplicity is not poverty. Simplicity is freedom. It's the art of living with what really matters and letting go of everything that holds you back, suffocates you, and drains you. Think with me. How many clothes do you have in your closet, but you can't even remember the last time you wore them? How many objects accumulate dust, taking up physical and mental space? Now, expand this reflection within yourself. How many old emotions, hurts, and demands do you still carry, even though you know they no longer serve you? Keeping too many things outside of ourselves creates clutter. Keeping too much stuff within of us generates suffering. And here's the secret. Excess takes us away from the essence. The more you accumulate, the more you lose clarity about who you are and what you really need to live well. I want you to imagine a river. When it flows, the water is clean, light, alive. But if you block it with rocks and rubble, it becomes heavy, slow, and murky. Your life works the same way. Any unnecessary baggage you carry impedes the natural flow of your energy. And living simply doesn't mean giving up on your dreams or achievements. It means eliminate the noise to hear what is essential. It's having fewer things to take care of and more time to feel. Fewer distractions to consume and more presence to live. Now, here's a simple and powerful exercise. Choose a drawer, a folder, a corner of your house today, and ask yourself in front of each object, does this bring me joy or is it holding me back? If it doesn't make sense, let it go. Donate, recycle, let it go.
You will realize that with each small detachment, a space of lightness is born within you. And do you know what happens when you start living with order and simplicity? Your mind becomes clearer. Your emotions become lighter. Your energy begins to flow much more strongly. But there is an even deeper step that we will reveal in the next teaching. Because even if you organize your environment, clear your mind, and live more lightly, there is still something that can keep you tied to the past. And that something is called pity. In sixth teaching, let's talk about the power of forgiveness, not as an act of kindness to another, but as an act of liberation for you. Get ready, because what you're about to hear could transform the way you relate to your own story. Sixth teaching, the power of forgiveness. Of all the Buddhist teachings, this is the most difficult and the most liberating. We are talking about forgiveness, but not forgiveness as you know it. Most people think that forgiving is forgetting or pretending it didn't happen or giving a pass to the person who hurt us. That's not forgiveness. That's denial. True forgiveness is an emotional alchemy where you turn poison into medicine,
pain into wisdom, resentment into compassion. I'll tell you a secret. Every person who hurt you was at that moment operating from their own pain. Hurt people hurt people. Angry people project anger. Fearful people create fear. This doesn't justify what they did, but it explains it. And understanding is the first step to freeing yourself. But there is an even deeper dimension: self-forgiveness. How often do you punish yourself for past decisions? How many nights did you spend reliving moments of failure? That inner voice that judges you, condemns you, and punishes you? She is the biggest thief of your energy. Forgiving yourself is giving yourself permission to start over. And here's a simple but powerful exercise. Close your eyes. Breathe deeply. Imagine yourself in front of the younger version of yourself. Look at that person and say, "I forgive you. I understand your choices. I release you." You will feel something falling apart inside you. A weight, a tension, an old pain that begins to dissolve. This is the beginning of true healing. Now, there is a point that connects everything we've talked about so far, because even after forgiving, there is still something we need to understand to live in peace. Life doesn't stop, and nothing lasts forever. In the 7th teaching, let's talk about the acceptance of impermanence. And I need to warn you, this lesson can completely change the way you see pain, happiness, and the meaning of life. Get ready, because what comes next is deep and transformative.
7th teaching. Accept impermanence. We come to the most revolutionary teaching, what the masters call anicca, the impermanent nature of all things. This may be the hardest to accept and the most liberating to experience. At this very moment, trillions of cells in your body are dying and being born. Your mind is not the same as it was 5 minutes ago. The person you were yesterday no longer exists. Everything is in constant transformation. Everything. Your current problems will pass. Your present joys will be transformed. Your circumstances will evolve. You yourself will always be changing. And here's the key to ultimate freedom. If nothing is permanent, why cling to what causes suffering? Imagine life as a movie. Most people get obsessed with a specific scene, a loss, a betrayal, a failure, and you lose the entire film. But when you understand impermanence, you become the director, aware of his own history, no longer an actor stuck in a single role. Close your eyes for a moment and think. Will everything you have now, feelings, moments, people, achievements, be exactly the same in a year, a month, an hour? The answer is clear. No. Everything passes. Everything changes. Everything transforms. In Buddhism, this principle is called impermanence. And understanding this isn't discouraging, it's liberating. When we accept that pain, joy, success, and even failures are temporary, we make space to live each moment fully. Imagine life as a river. If you try to hold the water, it escapes through your fingers. But if you let it flow, you notice the beauty of every curve, every reflection, every sound. Get too attached and you suffer. Accept that everything changes and you find freedom.
This teaching teaches us how to deal with loss, disappointment, and change without suffocating our energy. Because when we resist change, we create unnecessary suffering. But when we accept that nothing is permanent, we can let go of old hurts, cherish good moments without fear of losing them, embrace challenges with courage, knowing that they too will pass. Let's put it in an everyday analogy. Think of a train station. People enter, exit, some stay longer, others just pass quickly. If you get attached to whoever is arriving or leaving, you will suffer the whole journey. But if you learn to enjoy each encounter without holding back, every moment becomes light, rich, and meaningful. Impermanence also teaches us about gratitude. When we realize that everything is temporary, we begin to value what we have now, without expecting it to last forever. A sunset, a hug, a smile, everything gains weight, beauty, and presence. And what's more, this understanding connects us directly with self-growth and forgiveness. When you accept that people change, situations change, you can release old resentments and focus on what really matters: your energy, your peace, and your evolution. Life is a constant flux. When you learn to surf the waves of change, you find true freedom and inner peace. Now, take a deep breath and reflect. How much negative energy were you still carrying out of attachment to the past or fear of the future? By embracing impermanence, you create space to emotional peace, mental clarity, lightness in the heart, greater presence in the now. And this is where the journey is complete. Have you already learned how to silence the mind, and not depend on other people's approval, a look inside yourself, a clear your space and your mind, a live simply, a forgive yourself and others, and now the accepting impermanence? These 7 Buddhist teachings are like 7 keys to unlocking a lighter, more positive, and fulfilling life. But be careful. Knowing the teachings is not enough. The real power is in practice them daily, integrating them into your life and your energy. Now that you have met the 7 Buddhist teachings to remove negativity from your life, stop for a moment and take a deep breath. Feel what you just heard. Every word, every metaphor, every insight was a seed of transformation planted within you. And like every seed, it needs daily care to flourish. Ask yourself, which of these teachings will you apply today? Will it start with silence, observing your thoughts? Or maybe by forgiveness, releasing the hurts that weigh down your soul? Maybe you decide, organize your space, creating clarity for your mind. Remember, your energy creates your reality. What you choose to feed grows. What you choose to let go makes room for lightness, peace, and joy. Imagine your life as a house. Every teaching is an open window, allowing light to enter. The more you practice, the clearer, more enlightened, and serene it becomes. The more you connect with your essence, the more you lived with purpose, presence, and freedom. And here is the final invitation. Don't wait for tomorrow. Don't wait for someone to do it for you. The transformation begins now, at this moment. Choose one small action today and watch how it can trigger profound changes in your mind, your heart, and your life. Peace, clarity, and lightness are not outside of you. They have always been inside. You just have to let them bloom. Element. So take another deep breath. Feel your energy expand and make a promise to yourself. Today I choose lightness. Today I choose peace. Today I choose to live free from negativity and full of purpose. And if you feel that these lessons have touched your heart, share, practice, and live each of them. Your life can change, and you can become the lightest, clearest, most powerful version of yourself. Your energy is your destiny. What you choose to feed grows. What you choose to transform rises. The power is in your hands. The time is now. Your soul is ready. May these ancestral teachings awaken in you the freest, wisest, and most luminous version of who you came to be on this earth. And remember, the peace you seek is not somewhere far away. It has always been here, patiently waiting for you to stop searching and start being. If these teachings have touched your soul in any way, subscribe to the channel and activate notifications, because a spark of recognition, a deep resonance will reach you. Be part of our spiritual family. Namaste. The light in me salutes the light in you.